they are willing to just jump right in and try things. So it has a good side to it. When well nurtured and steered, can actually add a lot of value, but on the other extreme can cause big losses and a lot of heartache. And then we have people who are strict accountants, you know, those ones who want to ask for a receipt from a Mamboga, you know. You know, you want to know, did someone deviate from the budget by 2 shillings? That's unheard of, you know. So there are those people who want to account for everything. You know, having an accounting spirit is okay. It can make you ensure that you're sticking to the budget, that you're spending your money well, that you're remaining within the limit. But there are extremes. There has to be some room for wiggle. I mean, that's why there should be some contingency fund so that you don't feel too constrained, because we should be able to enjoy the money. We sweat much making it. We should also be able to enjoy it without feeling unapologetically to say. And then, of course, I mean, there are people, if you just put your hand in the pocket and feel those brown notes, you just toss them in your hands and look at them, you adore them, you just feel good when you have money in your hands. Whenever you check your bank account and it's, you know, all those zeros after the first number, you feel very excited. Your mood is good. Everyone just knows, you know, you can buy people anything. And they're just those people who feel good when they have money. And the problem is that sometimes they may not be generous, they may not be good at spending it, they just want to have money and have it there. You know, sometimes they might even, you know, acquire it by wrong means just to have it. So, and in the extremes, it can be almost like a worship of money. So that's something we should still be cautious of. So money is not there to be worshipped, it's there actually to serve us. We don't serve our money. And then there's a holy Joe. I mean, you feel guilty that you have money. How do I have all this money? And probably there's someone sleeping hungry. You feel guilty. You tend to be an extreme giver. You know, you give beyond what you have. You know, maybe you even borrowed to meet a certain need, but you take that money and just give someone. You feel guilty that you're having money. And really, I mean, when I think of the parable of the talents, you know, we were meant to multiply that resources. You should not feel, we're meant to multiply what we have. We're meant to make money. We should not have guilt around just having money. So you should not condemn people also because of having money, so long as they're doing it rightfully so. But the Holy Joes have a struggle in that area. So as a couple, you realize that you come together as two different individuals, but you become one, and your money needs to be married. And therefore, regardless of the money language that you speak, you still must find a middle ground that really serves your relationship, that you do not end up having conflicts coming from that area. And these are things that need to be addressed early. Maybe as a wind up on this, if you're very young in the marriage, or maybe you miss discussing some things before marriage, it's very important to lay it bare and discuss. Do you have a debt? Are you still paying your student loan if you had one? Did you borrow something that needs to be paid off? Because it's good to know where you're starting from, because you need to clear debts and start working on a clean slate to see what trajectory you want to take in your marriage. So discuss these things and see what your money language is and how best you can work together to serve yourselves.
And I like to take it home with simple, practical examples. The first group, we like to call them Tin Can Sam. This is the person who's very used to saving. The second person we like to call them Buy Me Brian. You love to spend, and really I'm one of those. When I go to the supermarket, I just walk down the aisle and I'll be dropping things on the trolley without looking at the prices. And then my wife is following me. My wife is
following me. We are about to have a conflict here.
Did you see the price on that one? Yeah. And then betting bill. I think in our country today, the betting industry, we all know what it's doing to communities out there. But more practically, there are those people who are exceedingly optimistic, to put it mildly. So when the quail business came around, there are people who literally took their life savings and just bought all the quail in Nairobi. Then when somebody says, we can put in your money and you'll get 50% profit in 3 months, There are guys who did that. So there are people who are like that. Then there is Afande Peter. Afande Peter is the one who accounts for every little cent. And I know many Afande Peters. I can see some looking at me. Then lastly, the Holy Joes, and many times because of the way we were brought up, there are people who have just a negative attitude towards money. And you can tell them in the WhatsApp groups, they're the ones who contribute the most to people's funeral and wedding budgets. So they'll contribute a lot, even when at home things are thick. So it's easy to see those. The way in which we have done it ourselves in terms of developing a financial transparency, we're just going to let you guys into our lives and just open up and let you in on what is it that we do at the Dindies. As we said at the beginning, our money languages are different. I like to spend, she likes to save. Conflict from the word go. So what we have done over the years, we've been married now, this will be our 15th anniversary in about 3 weeks' time. So thank you. What we do, because our anniversary is on 31st of December.
Send us gifts.
31st December. So every end of the year, we will go out to celebrate our anniversary. But the next 3 days, we spend those on casting the vision for the year. So we spend some time without fail away from everybody else, where we say, okay, so how has our last year been financially? Did we keep to the things we said we will do? What our financial goals, did we meet them? Where did we go wrong? And all that. Then we plan for the year. Literally, we'd say, these are the major projects for the year. We're putting this money towards that. This is the money that we need for our normal upkeep and all. This is what we're going to spend on generosity. Literally, we budget like, to give to causes that we believe in. This is the money we're going to put in for that. And then there is something that we call vanity kitty. So there are things that she likes to do that my male mind cannot process, but I have accepted that. So her vanity kitty, she will use for that. There are things that I like to do that 15 years down the line, she's still just like really, but that's my thing. It makes me, I feel some testosterone when I spend on certain things, So that is, so each person has their vanity kitty and we decide what to do with that. But away from that, everything else we do as agreed. The way in which we've decided to structure our finances, whatever she earns and whatever I earn from the various things that we do, we don't look at it like it is her money, it is my money. We look at it that this is a resource that God has given us to enjoy life with and to add value to the world, period. It doesn't matter from whom this money is coming in. There are periods when she has earned more than me. There's a time I was still doing my masomo, my master's at the university. She finished early, left me. She was a consultant, working, making money, while I was a student, reading and making nothing. And it was no big deal. There are times when I have made more money. There are times when we started our life, because we're both doctors, we're doing the same job, we're being paid the same. So we've had the whole extremes, the whole 9 yards of it. But we've always believed this is money that is in our hands, that we are just custodians. We like to think of ourselves as such. So how do we make use of this money to do the things that we value as a couple? That is the way we have always done it, and it has worked well. The foundation being, there is a very solid understanding over time. There's very solid trust that has been built over time. We like to say, love is free, trust is earned. So as a couple, consistently doing what you said you would do as a man builds trust in the lady. Consistently doing what you said you would do. So if we said we're going to spend this on that and you actually do it consistently, that builds trust. So that down the line, it is very easy. It's not a struggle to put the money together. Lastly, before I maybe allow some interactions from the floor, making money is one thing. Keeping money is a different thing. And then truly making wealth is a different thing. So one of the things that we did as a couple was to look at our goals, our ambitions. Then we said, for us to meet these goals and ambitions that we have, what must we do? What must we make? What changes in our lifestyle must we make? So we don't do things to please anyone. We will live in a place that we feel we can afford for that season in our life. We just don't care what the folks would say, but you know that these two doctors who are living in this ramshackle over here, driving a car that was manufactured before Moi became president. We make decisions based on our values, based on where we want to go, period. Then we accept the responsibility for our choices. So there are some of the investment choices we've made, they didn't turn out so well. She does not say to me, I told you so. I said, I told you, and you. Yes. Yeah, so we own it together. Whatever decision we own, we said we agreed, we did this, things didn't go so well. But the thing is, there's some of those decisions that we made, financial decisions that we made, that have turned out to be awesome. And at the end of the day, you need to have some boldness as a couple to believe in yourselves, to believe that those ideas that you're cooking up can turn out to be something awesome. Own those decisions and run with it, but baseline, let there be a platform of trust, because out of that platform, if you launch a rocket from that platform, you are sure to achieve amazing goals.
If I may add a few things, my husband is very articulate. He's said most of what we needed to share. A few areas that are usually of contention from our interactions with various couples is how you spend on families that you come from, and making big decisions, you know. So like for us, like Keith said, we have there's no my money, his money, it's our money. And besides the vanity kitties, which you can choose to spend whichever way you want. And so when there's a need in any, let's say my family where I was born or where he comes from, then we address it as a couple. So there's no feeling like we have neglected one side, taking care of the other. So it's just where there's need, and as the Lord leads us, that's how we take care of needs as they come. So that makes it very easy, and everyone feels that, you know, we are taking care of our families well, we are not, you know, neglecting them. It's good to honor your parents as well. And then, of course, when it comes to major spendings, we always have to agree. So it's not in the vanity kitty, like buying a car, building a home, you know, making certain kind of donations. Those are things we do as a team, and that really helps us feel accountable to one another. And yeah, it just keeps us together in terms of, you know, seeing that our values and our visions are still aligned. And then as a couple, when you take advantage of your different money languages, it can be such a big strength. Like my husband is a risk taker, and so he has pushed me, even, you know, setting up the company Dr. Fitness Limited. It was really his push, because I kept waiting for the perfect time, and you know, I tend to procrastinate a lot, but he helped me a lot. He pushed me, so it has helped. And I also help in some ways. In, you know, when he's really excited about something, he's about to jump off the cliff, I'm like, just hold on a second, we think through it. And sometimes we just fine-tune the same idea and end up executing it in a slightly different way. So take advantage of your strength. They can really come out handy, because I believe you come together, you two are better than one, you're stronger that way.
Right, we shut up now.
No, I'm waiting. I'm still waiting for more. You should see the excitement that is there. I just want to mention I think it's Evelyn. Evelyn, I think, was so excited to see you. She wrote it. She wrote down in the chat box. I'm excited to see you both, Keith and Esther. Someone who's a fan already. Listen, if people only just listened to what you said, I think so many couples can be assisted and helped along the way. One of the things that's coming very clearly from what you have described is the element of shared values. I think if there were issues as far as your values are concerned, I think there would be issues with your finances. So I'll get you to comment on that as I ask. If there are any questions, please do feel free. We are live now on Facebook. We're live on YouTube as well. So if you're in any of those platforms and you have a question, just type it and we'll try and pick them up and get them to the wonderful Daktaris here on the screen. Yani, I feel the pressure for your children. Now, both parents are doctors. Which direction shall we? Anyway, so yeah, please type the question that you have and we'll be able to get there. So please talk about your shared values. That seems to be something that's important to you guys. Talk about it.
Great. I think just financial intimacy is an integral part of overall intimacy in marriage. So when you're talking about finances in marriage, we like to call it financial intimacy. And intimacy, the very first brick to intimacy is usually shared values, the things that connect you. You believe the same things, you love the same things, but beyond that, in terms of honor, and I will talk just a little bit about the gift of honor. In terms of honor, you honor the same things. We usually say there are little foxes that destroy the vineyard. Those little foxes usually show up their heads in terms of differing values. And we have seen it many times. I remember one couple that just shared a story with us last week. They got a loan as a couple that they had agreed to buy some piece of land. And then this gentleman got something that, I don't know, I've never done betting, but there's something that they call a sure bet. You know, he said he was very convinced that this was his big moment. And he took a significant part of that money and spent it on that bet. And things did not turn out as expected. Already you can see the value system for these two people is different. And that creates immediate conflict. For the people that are yet to get married, usually when we're having that discussion, the last, couples come to us, they want us to be a best couple and everything, and we usually tell them, we'll only do that if you are willing to allow us to ask you the hard questions. If you are willing to allow us into your lives, not just for the wedding, but for the rest of your lives. And one of the things we always ask them, even after wedding, we sit down and ask them, whatever you agreed to do together, have you been doing that? Have you broken your promises at any one point? We'll ask the man, have you been eyeing someone else? Have you been watching stuff online that you should not be watching? Are your finances as you are telling your wife? Did you spend this money on the thing you actually said you spent it? We ask them in black and white because we believe if you cannot be honest with your spouse, you will not be honest with the government. So usually the tax frauds, the people who are messing up our country,
they're struggling.
I kid you not, it starts at home. So if you cannot keep values at home, you'll not keep any values out there on the streets. So for real, the fact that there are things that we hold so dear together has made all the difference. One of the values that we hold as a family, Esther and I really believe in, is in generosity. So we believe that the hand that gives is more blessed than the hand that receives. We believe that very strongly. If we didn't believe that together, I would struggle because there are causes I believe in and I want to put money in, but if she doesn't feel it, we can't do that. already there's conflict, because the values that are so deep to you, that is part and parcel of whom you are as a person. If you do something called self-awareness, your values are really part and parcel of whom you are. So you can't divorce yourself from them. So in a relationship, if there's conflict there, it catapults into everything else.
And let me say this, you have answered the question and done a really good job at it. I knew it was a tough question even as I was asking it. So the thing is, if there seems to be a theme, I've been going through some of the comments. Thank you so much to Zig on YouTube. And I also noticed a few on Facebook as well, and some here in Zoom where we're actually doing the webinar. And I noticed that even broaching the issue, the discussion on money, seems to be very difficult. It seems like, so there's a Zig mentioned on YouTube, they've said, every time I'm trying to have that discussion with my spouse, and the moment I bring it up, they get upset and leave the room. I see someone else here saying, currently I'm not working, I lost my job, my husband no longer shares with me the financial plans. So even initiating the discussion becomes problematic. How do you guys initiate? And I want to put you on the spot. I hope you don't mind. Mm-hmm. You guys look like a very loving, peaceful couple, but I know the truth because I've been married long enough that even the ones who look the most peaceful and loving, there has been conflict. So when you have disagreed, or when there has been an issue where there's a misalignment, how do you start such a conversation yourselves? Especially that time. Not the easy ones, not the ones where, oh, it's the end of year financial plan like you do, which is amazing. But hey, you spent what on where? How do you start those ones?
I think I will go first, and I must state that we might be in a different situation. Okay, because I know most people, you start off dating and, maybe move fast, end up getting married much sooner, and therefore, by the time you're getting married, there are a few things you've not addressed, unless you had a very good coach, to walk you through and ensure that you've already discussed some things at hand. That's not saying that we don't have issues, but I must paint the picture that we courted for like 5 years through medical school, those 6 years from second year all the way to the end. We had had enough fights by the time we were completing medical school and getting married. And so our communication was much easier. I must say those years really laid a good foundation into our communication, and we will talk about anything and everything. Our communication was very open, and that made a lot of difference. Of course, when there's no much money, the conflicts are even less, because what are you even arguing about? You don't even have the money to discuss in the first place. And then we were even on students' loan, the higher education loans board loan, And so when we started earning, we had very little. We were earning very little, the two of us, and we started budgeting. And I don't remember us having issues, but I think that those times we want to spend on things, or Kim is excited about to spending on something, and I'm feeling like, should we be doing that? It feels so much of a stretch. I'm always thinking about what might go wrong,
and that's what I'm asking. How do you deal with that one? Because the other ones are perfect. This one,
we look at each other and say, no, how do you bring it up? I'm not on board, and we argue and we never go forward to do something until we've actually both agreed. So the negotiations can go on for a few days until he will do a lot convincing, and there's that push and shove. But one thing is that we remain very respectful, and the good thing is that we are open to it. There's nothing that's out of bounds. We talk about everything, and everyone will argue their point. It's like the lawyer's defense, and
Yeah, I think one thing that has really helped us, we pushed the pretenses and whatnot away a long time ago, and so we're very real with each other. So usually, if there's an idea that I have and she thinks it belongs to the garbage bin, she will just tell me, that one I don't see inaelekea wapi. Your idea iko down, and we've realized you can address issues without addressing the person.
Yeah.
And as you grow in maturity, you stop taking things personally. Yeah, so there's a statement we made. Look, the very first argument we had, I remember it very well because I just proposed to her to just a few days after that in second year of medical school. I was so excited, and everything. So one day we are walking from the morgue, from dissecting the dead bodies, and we are walking out, and then we get into an argument, a serious one. And then I tell her, hey, we are two people that love each other. That is the baseline. Everything else,
I was about to walk away.
Yeah. Everything else is just an issue. Because her way of handling conflict, if she'd be annoyed about something, she would just walk away. And she would just go. She would just go. She wouldn't bring herself to talk. It's like there would be this big potato stuck on her throat. Yeah. She just can't, she'd be so annoyed she can say nothing. Yeah. For me, on the other hand, if there is an issue, I just want to talk about it. I'm like, see, we just say it.
I know, ladies.
Yeah, I'm like, what is it? Yeah, and like nothing. Like, so after a number of years of just learning each other, we've now come to that point where if there are issues, we handle them as such. But let me end by saying this, Waithaka. Yeah. Money is not usually the issue. If you dig just a little deeper, you usually find a certain triad of evil. I call it triad of evil because there are three things that usually are the problem. Number one is trust. And I'll just say this. If you as a man have cheated on your wife, please don't be surprised when she does not believe in putting her money together with yours. So that is trust that has been broken. There has to be a way in which that trust is then rebuilt. Otherwise, you can never have financial transparency. Number two is maturity. People need to grow up. Folks need to grow up, so that you start looking at things purely as things. Yeah, as I said, the more personal you take issues, the more immature you are. It just turns out. The more unable you are to listen to someone else, we usually say, if you're just listening to respond, instead of listening to understand, then you are immature. If you always think about your welfare first before someone else's, if your idea must always win at the end of the day, then you are immature. Then lastly, financial intelligence or financial literacy. And what us guys have discovered, we do not know everything. We are doctors, we understand how to take tumors from abdomens, I operate on people's hearts. But when I got into business, I did not know what EBITDA was. I did not know how to balance those books. I did not know how to match my risk portfolio. I didn't. And I was willing to learn. I listened to folks who understand this thing. I was willing to listen to guys who are in the game, people who are financial experts. I said, hey, teach us. So men especially, bury that ego in the sea of maturity. Allow someone else who knows this thing to talk to you. Learn, listen. You don't know everything. You'll never know everything. Buddha, Tulia, Caesar. The more you listen to other people, the wiser you become. And then over time, the more you listen to your spouse, the less you argue about certain things. So usually, money problems are usually manifestation, the symptoms of issues with trust, issues with maturity, issues with financial literacy.
I think
you're right. Go ahead. Yes, Esther.
Sorry. Yeah, if I may add from what I've learned from ladies in different groups, most of the time women are concerned about their security and that of the children. Many times in our setting, women feel like in case of anything, this guy, doesn't prove to be faithful, then I've got to take care of the kids. And so if besides just cheating, like Keith said, even just not being prudent with how you use resources, like if we agree on something and maybe someone does something different with the money, then that also breaks trust. And therefore, women will tend to want to keep the resources to themselves. That might not be the solution. So the best thing is to address the main problem, because like Keith said, money problems are actually a sign of an underlying problem. So other issues that are not resolved need to be addressed so you can feel comfortable putting your resources together and being able to use them as such. But our fights are less just because we've grown in the area of communication.
And that's a fact. And when we teach here at Centonomy, and we do have sessions now when you talk about money and relationships, you find that for some reason the principles that we apply to our businesses, Keith, where for instance, if you have a business partner, you want to have open books so that they understand where you're coming from and where they're going on. We struggle to apply those same principles to our own marriage, and we're wondering, why is it that you are more open in that same space? So that's brilliant. Two very quick questions as we wind up, because you brought it up. Walter is asking, how do you balance family support? Because I am sure, Keith, you come from somewhere. Esther, you come from somewhere, and there's expectations on both sides. Walter is asking now, how do you balance? Because, you know, even traditionally, in many cultures, it's as if Esther has left her home. So why are we looking back towards her side? But you know, in reality, we are now joint families. How do you guys handle it?
I'll say one thing, then allow Esther to say as well. There's a notion that we don't believe in. There are people that say when a lady is getting married, I usually see people saying that she's now joining our family, and she has to understand how things happen in our family. And you see a father saying, I have now gained a daughter. And then on the other end, the guys will be saying, I have now gained a son. We are of the school of thought that you are not joining any family. You're forming a family.
Wow.
You're forming your own unit. And when you form your own unit, you have to develop your own constitution, your own protocols, your own vision. We really believe in a couple having a vision, meaning when you're dead and gone, what is the one thing you want to be known for? What is that legacy? What is that one thing that what impact do you want to leave on the world as a couple? So that is important. So when it comes to spending on the two sides, we look at ourselves as one unit that then is trying to sort out issues that are external to us. So if there is an issue on her side, I am the one who has to decide. We agreed on this a long time ago. I am the one. The mom will not call her. We will talk. She will talk to me. If there are issues on our side, they will talk to her, so that there is there are no secret dealings happening under the table without the other spouse knowing. Because we realized, we learned from other couples, that's where the problem usually comes in. Your family goes on the side, mnasotiana, and you find it difficult to. So when the family knows that, they really respect you. They respect the fact that there's no money I will get from Keith without Esther knowing. They just know. There's no money they'll get from her without me knowing. They know that and they respect that. And it tampers down the expectations so that people's expectations are not over the roof. When that happens, when a request is made, it is me to decide. It is her to decide with honor. Sometimes I will have some discussion with her. She gives me context and understanding, and then we're able to spend. So far, there are many projects we've done at our home. There are many we've done at their place. So that it's not looking at it like equal. If we spend 50 here, you must spend 50 there. No, we say, where is there a need that we feel as a couple we need to answer? Both of these families are external to us. The unit is us. We are not part of them. The unit is us making decisions on externals. I don't know if it makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. In fact, it's as if I'm telling you, it's as if you have attended our session, because we try and bring out these issues specifically. As you have said, money is rarely the problem. It's usually everything surrounding it, and that's brilliant. 2 quick fire questions, because we have 2 minutes. Number one, when did you start merging or marrying your money? When did that happen? Very quickly. And then one more question. Maybe Esther, you can tell us, when did you marry your money?
Let me not disclose exactly. Anyway, I think we started marrying our money as soon as we started earning. Actually, if I'm to go back and be honest, it was actually in college before we were married. We just, how it happened is that we went shopping. I was going shopping for those small things in college. Keith just took me to a supermarket in Eldoret. And so I was queuing in line with my own cash to pay for my own things. And by the time I got to the cashier, it actually paid. And I'm like, no, you should not have done that. And, you know, he did that 2 times. And I was like, I just felt he should not be spending on me. And then I was like, okay, fine, I think we can just have a common budget. And that's how we started. My parents should not hear this. Yeah, but that's how we started. That's how
before we got married.
So
no, but I completely agree, because you're showing the intention even at that point of how you will be relating, and that's amazing. The last quick fire question would be, how do you guys keep transparency? Do you have joint accounts? How do you make sure that there's clarity on how money moves? What are the tools for transparency that you use?
Yes, we do have a joint account where, you know, we try to channel all our monies towards this joint account, because from it is where we do most of the huge big projects. We also have some individual accounts, like, you know, where when she's earning, where she's employed and whatnot, there's an account they send money to. There's an account they send money to from the companies that we have. So we have money that comes to all that, and then we channel it into the joint account. There are specific instructions we have put that send money into our joint account. At the end of every year, when we sit down, it's crazy. It's like you know, it's like a board meeting. It's literally. So there is we are presenting papers. This is a track of how much has come in. This is how much has been spent. This is what we had agreed to do. This has been our pitfall. This is what we must do different in the coming year. This is now the major project. We need to increase our earnings by this and that to meet this. This is how our various business portfolios are doing. Are we doing well? Do we need to give each other a thumbs up? Do we need an amazing evening session because we're doing well? You know, all that. That's how we do it.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Wow, Dr. Keith, Dr. Esther, what an amazing session that you have shared with us. And thank you so much for the real transparency today. Because I think many times when couples come together like this, in fact, people were wondering whether you'd actually answer my question when I pushed you. And they were like, yeah, that's the kind of response that we need. Please continue to share those insights with as many couples as possible, because it makes a huge difference. Let me tell you. So those were just amazing points. Maybe I'll give you 1 second each to just give your parting shot. But I'm just so amazed. This has been excellent. Maybe ladies first.
Okay, I'd say that it's good to appreciate money and whatever money comes into your hands, and know that it's there to serve you and serve mankind, and therefore use your money wisely and use it to make an impact in the environment that God has put you in.
Wow.
And I'll just say, especially for the dudes, love is free, trust is earned.
Love is free, trust is earned. So guys, I'd invite you, if you don't mind, to hang out a bit more. If you can, just look through the comments on the Zoom platform, and you can also check out on YouTube and on Facebook. And you can just reply to the ones that may have been missed. There were so many questions that came in. I was trying to merge them into themes, and you guys did an excellent job in responding to them. Hang out and respond to a few of them. I'm sure people would be so happy to hear from you. We really appreciate your time. God bless, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
So ladies and gentlemen, as we mentioned earlier, the Centonomy 101 program is designed to help you not just as an individual, but also as families, as couples, to begin to, as you heard right now, about marrying your money, that you have a joint financial plan. And so when you go through each one of these modules, especially having discussed them, having gone through them together as a couple, it opens up opportunities for discussion. One of the areas that we train in Centonomy is we train chamas, or investment groups. And when an external trainer comes to your investment group, they can ask harder questions than you would be comfortable asking your friends and those who are around you. And so what we have found is, when you come into the class here, the Centonomy 101 class, as a couple, because it is Waithaka or any of the other trainers that we have an amazing group of trainers, over 30 experts in various fields. When they ask a question, that question is coming from the outside of your couple. And so there's no pressure that question came from one party or the other, and it feels like we're trying to pull each other apart. No. It helps you to begin to unearth issues that will help you along the way. Just to let you know, somewhere along the way here, around module 6, 7, we usually have a bonus session on money and relationships, where the principles that you've just heard from Dr. Keith and Dr. Esther, we begin to break them down and implement them within our families and within the groups that are there. So all these things, that you will find them there in the Centonomy 101 program. It's starting on the 9th of February 2021, so you can start planning to get there. The classes, they run once per week, and you're going to hear from a couple who've been through it, and now in fact, I'm a bit interested to hear what the experience has been like, because they've been so willing to come and share their experience. One class per week, from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, or Saturday morning from 9 a.m. East African time. You can register now for only 1,500 shillings, and the tuition, which can be paid in installments, you can start even now. You can even start paying now, so that it becomes much easier by the time February gets there. If you want more details on the program, please do reach out to Maureen at centonomy.com. You can email her, or you can call that number at the bottom of the screen. We'll be telling you a little bit more about it. But let me tell you this: the skill set of managing money and being able to discuss it is massive along the way. I'm telling you, the opportunity for discussion is so important. So I'm really excited to have you guys here. The next couple who are coming to share are actually Centonomy alumni. They've been through the program together, and I'm just so excited to see you guys here. Thank you so much. I can even see the environment in which you're in. I'm familiar with the brand that you are around right now, and it's so exciting to have you guys here. You can actually switch on your microphone so you can hear one another now. I'm really excited to invite Kelvin Kagodo and Lauren Rosenberg. They're going to share their experience with Centonomy. What inspired you to take the program as a team? I mean, usually you'll find a wife, a husband coming by themselves, and then they try and share at home. I think that was my strategy originally. Yeah. How did you guys end up in the class together?
Hi, Waithaka and the Centonomy team. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here tonight. And you start.
Yeah.
Why Centonomy?
Why Centonomy? You introduced me to Centonomy. So in January this year, you were going through a transition with work, and you found some stuff on non-financial assets, I think.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's how I first heard about Centonomy. And then, we didn't talk about it we said, oh, maybe. So we're actually getting married in a week. That's why we're here in Kenya. Next Friday, we are just
congratulations
from Sharia House.
In advance.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that's why we're in this location right now and not in a different space. And we were supposed to come to Kenya sometime this year, and we had talked about, maybe we'll do Centonomy in person. Then COVID. And then somewhere I just saw it online, and I said, hey, look, Centonomy's online, and I think of the discount, the COVID discount. Yeah. And I said, and we just said, right, let's go for it and let's do it. And we then later decided to plan a wedding. We were supposed to get married in July, and then COVID postponed a bunch of things, and then we said finally we couldn't actually. It wasn't making sense to postpone until COVID is over, and it's one of those things where I think God has got your back. Where we said yes to Centonomy before we had a wedding day, and now we're so grateful that I'm so grateful that you had stumbled across that stuff in January, and then I somehow found the link, and that's how we did it.
Yeah. As she said, I've actually been following about Centonomy from friends and from the adverts on YouTube since sometimes last year, and of course I'd seen all these invited guests that they give these good, amazing talks during the Centonomy one-on-one first day, and I had this guy talking about non-financial assets, and that really sank deep, So at the beginning of this year, actually December, I went through a huge job transition. So we live and work in Burundi, and I moved to Burundi with a missionary church to start an English-speaking church in Bujumbura. And in December, it was clear that I had to transition out of the church. And I was like, okay, so for the first time in a period of 9 years, I'll be, all right, someone says you can't hear us?
Much better now. We can hear you much
Okay,
better.
cool. All right. Yeah, so I had to make a decision. What do I do with my life? I don't have any experience out of church. So that thing of how do I use my non-financial assets, my skills, my abilities, my talents. That was how I was able to sell Centonomy to my fiance, and I said, I think we really need to take this course. It might give us some tips on how we should survive during this year of uncertainties. Yeah.
Wow. So you decided, you found us somewhere online, and you said you're going to jump in.
Yep.
Give us some of the highlights, especially of doing it together. When I've talked to other couples who've done the program together, there's usually some very interesting evenings afterwards, especially after the discussions. Tell us the journey that you've had, some of the main points that maybe stuck out to you, and then I'll ask a couple of questions as we go forward.
Great.
Hey, first on budgeting. That's a huge one. And yeah, I think before we met, and even before we decided we want to get married, each is individually we had our own budgets. I had my budget, she had her budget, but it was nothing. It was not close to what Centonomy has taught us. As a dude, I would only write, okay, what do I need? Rent, fuel, soap, tissue, toothpaste, and just write the basics. And what do I do with the rest of the money? I don't spend. I don't plan on how much I want to spend, how much I want to save. I don't review my budget. Did I really stick to my budget? As long as I got stuff that got me from 1 month to another month, that was sufficient. Next month, I get my pay. I budget again as usual. I never sat down and looked back at how did I actually spend? Where am I overspending? Where do I need to cut back? And how do I even plan on saving? Because working in the church, sometimes I had so many people coming, help me here, help me there, and saving was a huge. It was actually difficult. I would be saving such a very small amount. So Centonomy has taught me that saving is a priority. If I have to think about tomorrow, I have to learn how to save. And that has to be part of a monthly budgeting. What portion? You taught us a very good, there's a class on budgeting that you taught and said, we have to be intentional about saving, so for me, budgeting, that was the first thing.
Well, what Theka was hitting on is what were some of the clashes, and so
okay, sorry.
And what no, but that was interesting because what we were discussing earlier when we were preparing for this was we both had the tool, we both had a budget.
Yeah.
Like he explained the way he would do his, and then I had my way. And I remember that first time I showed you my budget, and you were like, "What's fun money? Like, what is this line item called fun money?" And so we both had a tool, but we had different money language. I really related to the first presentation of like merging these money languages. So that was the biggest value add for us, is that we could now have a third party neutral saying, here's that same tool you're talking about, but in a different language. and then we could take it and then we actually tweaked it a bit. We said, actually, okay, Centonomy does it in this way because of where we live. And like, for example, in Burundi, everything is cash. Nothing is like, we're being blown away now by how many cashless payments we can make in Kenya. So that we have to tweak the tool for that because we can't operate in that way in Burundi. And so that was, I think, the biggest thing is like coming, and it actually took us, we joined our finances in June, actually, before we were engaged, kind of on a similar reason as the Dindi said. But it took us 4 months, and only with Centonomy's help, to actually get a budget where both of us felt comfortable. And there was actually some conflict, and a lot of conflict, and a lot of it was around money languages. And I didn't know that I was so much of an analyst. And but since having, I think the biggest value takeaway as a couple is, okay, there's a third way that you can relate to, and it's not, we can now relate to this, we're coming into it both as beginners, and it's not like, okay, Calvin bought this history, Lauren bought this history. It's like we're both beginners on the Centonomy journey. So that's been a big one. What else we write? The abundance mindset. That was
before you go there, if you don't mind. I love that you're heading there. It was not just about the areas of conflict. No, I was just saying the things that came up to you and that you are working on together. Hopefully you can share. So the abundance mindset. Keep going, guys.
Okay, great. Sorry, we lost you for a bit, Waisaka. There. Could you repeat what you just said? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. No, I was saying that it's not just about the areas of conflict or where you had some struggle coming together. Even the stuff that you enjoyed doing together, just share the experience. And that's why I'm loving where you're going now, to the abundance mindset.
So that one was huge for us because that was the class where I think you taught it. We did the Saturdays. So our ritual was a Saturday morning ritual. I went over to his place. It was breakfast. We did Centonomy. And that one it was so huge for me because when we had to do the exercise of writing down what would we do if money wasn't, I can't remember the exact question. Finding out that both of our pages are exactly the same. We would travel more and we'd spend more time with friends and family, and just that only came up as a result of Centonomy. And just, it actually brought us, it was a big moment of intimacy for me, because I was like, wow, that's a desire of your heart too. And just our different career paths at the time hadn't given us opportunity to speak about that.
I think, Rebecca, there's something you talked about. There's a line that you threw in one of the classes. You said that wealth and success are a choice. We choose, And I think we talked about that for a couple of days because we come, first of all, from different cultures. Oh, sorry, people can't hear. Okay. So we come from different cultures, and she's from South Africa and I'm from Kenya. And, I've grown up in a family where we lived with scarcity. And so for me, having money, as soon as I get money, I want to get rid of it as fast as I can. There's so many problems to be solved, and I didn't have a lot of feelings around money. Oh, money is here. Mom wants this. Shosho wants this. My brother wants this. So money is to be shared and to be spread as fast as soon as it comes, it has to exit, But, in the class, there's one thing we talked about. Think about where you want to be a couple of years from now. What choices are you doing on a day-to-day basis? So I realized, wow, I have to be very intentional. Family is important. But again, I have to think about our future 10 years from now. Where will I be as an individual, as a family? Where will we be? And we started having those talks. So, okay, how now do I start telling my mom, sorry, this month I can't send you this amount of money, or Shosho wants this, or I can't send you this amount of money, and from her culture, I don't think she's ever sent money to her parents, like, we have an issue, send us money. That does not happen. So now she comes into a place where this is my routine. I do it on a monthly basis. This month I send Shosho, the other month is to mom. How do I now have a discussion with her so that she feels, first of all, included? Secondly, now we plan for a future. And how do I now start telling my family, unfortunately, I cannot send money to you this month because I have other priorities. They might not be immediate, but they are long-term priorities that we have to plan for. Yeah, so the abundance mindset. That even led us to a place of we stopped going outside to have meals. Like maybe she should tell you
Yeah, so-
about her spending habits before
So
that
he's
class.
laughing at me because I think in the early days of dating, he was always like, "How you always eat out." Da, 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 da. Then recently, about halfway through Centonomy, he sees me outside a cafe for a meeting, and I'm eating my lunch
In
a
the car
lunch
park, not
in the
just outside, in a
lunch
car park, seated
that
in the
I've
car,
packed.
eating from a plastic container.
and then just going for the meeting just to do a coffee, because that's one thing I really picked, and I think we picked as well. It's like, why are we investing in, okay, it's ironic because of where we are right now, but like, why are we our cafe in Bujumbura is Buja Cafe. Why are we investing in Buja Cafe when we could be going to a project that we have for the next 10 years?
Yeah.
And that's the third biggest thing we picked, and maybe you can share on this one, Love, is the time value of money.
Time value of money.
That was
Before
it.
you go to time value
Sure.
of money, I
Uh-huh.
have to address this issue because I know many people hear this and it becomes about, oh no, I'm coming to Centonomy, I'll never eat at Java again, I'll never go out.
No, yeah.
But what you're talking about, I loved, is that we don't usually think about our finances in terms of our goals. It's
Yes.
never
Yeah.
something that is ahead of us. It's
Yeah.
what's now. And
Yeah.
so when you now are saying, okay, I'm going for a meeting, you'd have just very easily gone and actually eaten at the place and bought a meal, whereas
Yeah.
you could have eaten before you got there. And so because now you're saying we have a goal that we're aiming for, that cash has
Absolutely.
a place to go.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
I'm just wondering, so that people can recognize, I can see you're drinking and you probably had something. Aren't you out at the moment? So it has, Centonomy did, we didn't end you going out, did we?
No.
Okay.
No, I think in the abundance mindset class, we say that as long as you're able to stick to your goals, you have a plan. Centonomy is not telling you to go and starve yourself to death, but as long as you're able to keep track,
Yeah.
spend what you can. So for us, we have learned that we will spend on special occasions, our anniversaries and birthdays.
Yeah.
So we save for that because that is special to us, and maybe we go out or we bring a pizza home, or we have an ice cream, and we just give ourselves a small treat. But the trick is this: we have to budget for that.
Yeah.
It has to be budgeted for. Don't come on the 5th of February and say, oh, I'm going out with my friend, let's have some money. I'll be like, but where is that money coming from? It was not budgeted for. So we have to wait for next month for you to celebrate that. So even for this cup of coffee we're having right now, we have to budget for that.
Lauren, I'm sure it's your fun kitty that made into the joint budget. I love it. I love the fun kitty.
The fun money, yeah. Fun money. Well, I think what was just on that, the thing that is also we really picked as a couple, and that really helped us, was just the useful tool of having the irregular fund. There was in one of the sessions, because that was kind of throwing us a bit like I remember your car got some repair stuff a while ago, and we hadn't had that set up, and so we didn't know. Like when we started to try and do the budget, we said, but some months we spend this, other months we spend this. Like, what is it? And then once we did the irregular fund one, it was like huge relief, and because now every month that was something that was new to me. I think it was new to you. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, it was so cool to have. Now we have this tool that every month it just goes there, and and when something comes up, it's like no problem.
Yeah.
And even like a lot of just like, for example, coming to Kenya, we had to get COVID tests from Burundi. We don't even have to think about it, just from the irregular fund. It's already there.
Yeah.
That was a big
just to
change for us.
describe that, if you don't mind, for those who are listening, because not everybody is familiar with the irregular expenses fund. So what we've realized is there are some things that you're going to spend on. Like you said, your car. Your car may break down, or it's a service that's needed, or it's insurance. Those things that don't come every single month. And so when that month comes that the car needs it, it can be really under pressure. So what we've designed is the irregular expenses fund. When that month comes, you need to travel or you need to fix your car. It's not putting pressure on that month's money. That's what these guys are wonderfully describing there. Go ahead. You're about to say something.
No, I think the last one I was going to ask Kelvin to share about time value of money. So
Yes,
that was
yes, yes.
that was something that we definitely picked up, and it was
Time value of money. Again, thank you so much, Rebecca, for that. To realize that, the shilling that, I'm wasting today, in 10 years' time, it would have really accumulated in a lot of money. And also to think about the future. If I'm thinking of having a child 10 years from now, what do I need to invest right now? And how will the economy be 10 years from now? And how do I need to start putting my finances in order so that 10 years from now, our kids will not have to suffer? So thank you so much for that. And, I realized for sure there are so many potholes that I had in my financial life. And most of that money was going to things that are not important. Again, being in church, having families, having friends, and going for all these meetings. And I realized actually I was wasting so much money meeting people in coffee shops. And because you are the pastor, you're the leader, there's that weight of I have to be the one to treat this person. And I looked back and said, wow, 7 years in ministry, look at how much I have given to Buja Cafe, because that's our Java in Burundi.
Yeah.
And I realized I've given that, business a lot of money. So much that if I had that money today, if I was able to save for every cup of tea I was going out, today I would be a rich man. I would have invested and bought a plot in Kenya. So that is a big lesson we learned. So now we are getting married next Friday, and we have already put a plan and said, what are we going to do in the next 10 years? Where do we need to be financially 10 years? So let's look at, 2030. Where are we going to be? And what do we need to do right now? So thank you so much for that lesson. I'm sure after our honeymoon, heads will be rolling. Yeah, and actually we came to Kenya and we started looking at property because we realized, as we were taught in the class, 10 years from now, property will have shot so high. And what we need to do right now so that 10 years from now, probably we'll have a home. So, yeah.
Wow.
so that's where we're at.
I'm telling you, some of the choices and the fact that you're doing this even before you have officially gotten married, that's just simply amazing. Just a question. I'm interested because I usually take off when you get into the investment classes. You mentioned real estate as one of the investments that you guys are thinking about. What other investments are you beginning to think about jointly now after doing the Centonomy class? I know you learned about bonds and shares. What are the areas that you're thinking about and have started already investing in?
So we haven't started yet because of our wedding. And just as maybe a interesting business idea for Centonomy, I would definitely say make a product for couples who are getting married. Like there's a whole other side of wedding planning that I'm like, I wish there was a Centonomy for this because it's real. You're managing people's expectations. We're not doing it with a committee. We're doing it ourselves. So just a tip on that. So we haven't done any formal investments yet. Both of us
have done so much scouting.
We've done so much scouting. Properties one, treasury bonds was definitely one that was super interesting. And I think for both of us, there's a growing interest in investing in small and medium enterprises. Like I come from the business world myself, and now I'm looking to, we're soon going to be registering an investment company it's kind of on that verge of, we're really interested in investing in young entrepreneurs, and we have enough experience in a very interesting market Burundi is a very interesting business market. If you can survive there, you can survive in many places. And so that's where our interest is going. But for sure, I think the first one, the order priority would be the lowest fruit to pick is treasury bonds, then real estate. And then obviously the more riskier ones, as we discussed in the class, is the private equity stuff.
Yeah.
Wow, that's simply amazing. Any other points that you had written down, maybe as we wind up now, because I'm going to tell people how they can have the same experience as you did. Is there anything else that you wanted to let people know from your experience with Centonomy?
Do Centonomy. It's really worth the investment. No, we mean it. We've spoken to so many friends about Centonomy. It's been probably one of the most transformative things I've done with my adult life. And together as a couple, it's been refreshing. And I think I'm from South Africa, and I think what I've really appreciated about Centonomy is the African perspective on, because there's quite a few books and stuff and blogs on, and like the Dave Ramsey's and stuff, but it's very Western. And to talk about such content from an African perspective, and also what I loved, and maybe you didn't expect this with COVID, it's one of those unexpected blessings, is the diaspora input, and that dialogue has been so rich. Like, it's so rich. I would really recommend this. It's definitely a investment choice. It does, and it, like, for example, we're trying to convince at the moment a friend of ours to join the entrepreneur Centonomy class, and she's like, "Wow, that's a lot of money." And I think, do it. There's no other way to explain it. Just do it.
Yeah, Waithaka, we learned in Centonomy about investment return. And
Yes.
it is Centonomy. We feel the pinch when you're paying for the classes, but actually, I think the amount of money we paid, both of us, has saved us a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Has saved us a lot of money, because if we were not equipped how we are equipped right now, I tell you for sure, I would have wasted more than what I paid for Centonomy, doing things that are probably not gonna take me anywhere in the future. So,
Wow.
yeah.
And then just linking back to what the Dindi said, is just that idea of when you are getting married, you're now a new unit. What we appreciate about Centonomy is it's now our thing that we get to work with. It's not the way Calvin did money and the way Lauren did money, trying to put them together.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still obviously those influences, but it's now, okay, here's a trusted, reliable source. It's a company that's been going for 10 years. Like, this is stuff you can bank your money on. There's enough testimonials. So that was super, super helpful.
Yeah. And also the networks that comes through Centonomy. Just before I came to Kenya, our company was hiring. It's an HR, Christian HR company. And one of the person we interviewed was a lady who has done Centonomy this year. So you see the networks of Centonomy, and you know, like, because of the credibility of Centonomy, you know that for sure, if I have someone in my company who has done Centonomy, it is a value addition to the company itself.
Wow.
Because of the holistic lessons that Centonomy bring, not only to the individual, but to their holistic lives.
Wow.
So we're just at the beginning of the journey,
and we want to do more classes. We are going to do the entrepreneur classes.
Welcome.
Santi.
And there's one class though that I think I know you took it at one of the other trainers, where we were dealing with the issue of debt. Because I know this is something that a lot of people are coming into, and you heard the Dindis talking about when you're entering to marriage, whether you've opened up to each other around this area of debt and what you're seeing, how you can get out of. Maybe you can comment a little bit about that.
Well, thankfully, we had a little bit of debt on your side coming in.
Yeah.
And on my side, I didn't have any debt. So it wasn't a big issue for us. It wasn't something that we had to deal with. And even I think Calvin is way more cautious about credit than I am. And it hasn't come up yet. But I think from my side, I'm more sensitive to it, because I saw, unfortunately, like in my family and extended family, how that can really cause issues if it's not spoken openly about.
Yeah, it's one of those things we talked about, especially when we were starting Centonomy. I think we went out, or you came around my house, and we talked about, is there any debt that you have that I need to know?
Yes.
And we had to write them down.
Yeah.
From 10 bob to 500. If it is airtime, if it is, the mechanic, if it is like Mama Kibanda, just write everything. If it is tithe that has not been paid, everything was written down,
Wow.
And we had to clear that.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it's what you guys have mentioned, and I pray that many people will have that same experience. And it's not just about when you're starting, at whatever point you are within the relationship. I think the principles apply across the board. So maybe a parting shot from each one of you. Just tell us what you think as I close up, and then I'll let everyone know how they can jump into the class starting in February. Go ahead.
Don't undervalue your non-financial assets.
Explain non-financial assets real quick from what you understood.
So it's the things when, for example, if you lose your job, or if something happens to your income, even your passive income, it's what do you have left? And those, what do you still left with? You still left with your brain, your creativity, your networks, and what you can create with that.
Yeah. Mine is don't undermine the small money you have. Make saving a habit. If you have to send 10 bob, it is a discipline, it is a habit. Save, 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 save.
Wow. And people always wonder when I've taught around the area of why do we save, why do we invest? It's actually in order to spend. What people often forget is that you're saving so that you will spend on something that you have planned or agreed on. And what I'm loving is all the testimonials that are coming through of people who often at this time of the year are going on holiday because they were able to put aside some cash every month. And now they're spending on a holiday they probably would never have gone on before. It's saving and investing so your children go to the schools that you want them to go to. You build the house that you want to build. So when you save and invest, it's not just for keeping money. It's not to be a miser. It's actually to be able to spend, but to spend with purpose.
Yeah, and also to protect the future.
Hey,
to protect our future.
I'm telling you, Lauren,
we need to protect our future.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for coming and sharing so openly. We really appreciate. There are a couple of questions that have been coming through on the chat box. Please do try and reply to them as well. You can check out on YouTube and on Facebook. I just wanted to see if there are any specifically. Yes, there was one that was coming through. I think it was similar to that. What is your plan for how you can join your finances moving forward? Are you going to use tools like joint accounts? How will you begin to marry your money as you get married next week?
We've already done that. So at the very beginning, when we decided we want to get married, we said, okay, we both have different incomes. And we don't want this thing of, okay, you bring 60,000, I bring 40,000. We were getting married. It's our project.
Yeah.
Why don't we put our money together? Why don't we start to learn how to do budgeting together so that by the time you're married, these are not issues. So we went to my bank, we changed our names. We went to her bank, changed names. And even now we came to Kenya, we're doing the same thing. So.
And there's some accounts, for example, in South Africa that we haven't been able to change because we're not able to travel with COVID. But as soon as we are, that it just gets changed into both names. It just makes it easier. And I think one tip I would give to couples is make sure you have the banking app on both phones, like so that both partners need to have equal access to the records and the bank accounts at any time. It shouldn't be one person is managing it and the other. I mean, unless you want to decide it that way. But we've just found that it really helps us if both people have both access to the cards, the apps, anything you need, it's available at all times. Just to make sure, even if, for example, Kelvin opened his account, he's now showed me I can access his internet banking with KCB. Yeah.
Wow. Mwebesa is just saying thank you to both couples. I've really learned and seen things from a different perspective. Everyone is so grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So guys, let me just end with this so that we can understand what we're talking about here. The Centonomy 101 program is designed to help you to figure these things out. When you hear Lauren and Kelvin talking about they were able to put a budget together, that started with class 1. And then after that, that's it. Now what you're trying to do is to see what are our joint goals. When they talked about time value of money, they're saying we want to own our own home in the next 10 years. We want to be able to take our children to certain schools in the next. How much will it cost so that we know what to do now so we're not in pressure for the future? We don't have to borrow for the future. When you understand how debt works, then you can choose where's the right place to use debt. How do we, so that we're not fearful of debt. I think one of the things that comes with borrowing is that there's fear. And sometimes we fail to use a tool that could have assisted us on the journey because of fear. And we can't approach it from that perspective. And for those who've taken debt, how do you get out of debt as quickly as possible? I'm sure, Kelvin, you'll be helping lots of your folks through your job to get out of debt using the tools that we've learned here as well. Then the idea of living abundantly, that it is beyond just us. It's moving forward into the future. What are the goals, the joint goals that we have? Then each one of the investment classes taught by investment experts, we're going to help you to achieve the goals that you want into a 5-year financial plan that you have at the end there. So if you're interested, there is a 10% lockdown discount, even as countries start opening up right now. You can register today with 1,500 shillings and then pay the rest in installments as it comes closer to the time. You can do 3 installments. The first one will be just before the first class, which is on the 9th of February, 2021, 14,500 shillings. And then on week 4, the next month, 14,500. And the last one in the last month of 10,000 shillings as we move forward. And you can always reach out to Maureen there at centonomy.com. If you're in Kenya, you can use this registration on M-Pesa, use the 986850. And the account number is your first name and 101. If you're outside of Kenya, there are various means that we can use to be able to assist you to register. So reach out to Maureen at centonomy.com and she'll give you the best way for you to register depending on where you are around the world. The best thing about this, and I love it so much now, and you guys are hearing about it, as Lauren mentioned, when you're in the class and you're hearing perspectives from Japan, from the US, from South Africa, from Burundi, from West Africa, from Burkina Faso. Thank you so much, Ida, for joining us today. It begins to open your mind to opportunities you had never seen before. And this is what's really powerful about it. When you have a joint goal, a joint purpose, then you're able to work together as one. So my encouragement to you is, please, yes, do check us out. Go to centonomy.com, centonomy.com. We've got lots of material there, free material. You can hear testimonials from amazing couples like the ones that we've had here. Lots of people around the world who've had an experience, and just hear what they've gone through and learn a little bit more. I just want to ask now, as we're closing up, if you have any more questions, you're more than welcome to type them in the chat box so that we can respond to them. Thank you so much, Erico, on Facebook. I'm seeing you there where you're saying Centonomy has helped me a lot, including me. Yeah, that's right. Has helped many people. I'm able to track my expenses. Great, excellent, excellent. And a few other people from different places. That's all the way from Dubai. Excellent. Please, please, please. This is a time for us to learn and to prepare. Even as you think about 2021, this is a time for us to grow, to build ourselves even for the future that we want. And that future doesn't have to be 10 years away. It can be the holiday that you're looking for. I'm sure Lauren and Kelvin, you remember when we're doing the 5-year financial plan, we plan even for buying a new phone, you know, that upgrade to your furniture in the house. So it's not just about the long term, it's also about the present. So guys, everyone I'm not seeing any new questions coming through. It has been a pleasure. To the Dindis, we want to thank you so much, Dr. Esther. Thank you so much, Dr. Keith, for sharing so openly. To Lauren and to Kelvin, congratulations and all the best on your wedding next week. I'm sure I know what it's like. I remember 8 years ago, and it's such a pleasure to have you guys here. You should see some of the comments. Thank you so much, Esther. I saw a long response that you've been putting down there as well. I know that so many people will be checking you out. I just wanted to ask, if you don't mind, to Dr. Esther and Keith, I think you also have other places that we can find you in case anyone wants to follow up with you online. How can we reach you guys? Oh, you're on mute? You're on mute? You need to unmute first, then you can speak. There we go. There we go.
All right. Thanks. Esther?
Okay, yeah, I can be found on Facebook as Esther Dindi, or on my page, Dr. Fitness. You type in Dr. in full, D-O-C-T-O-R, Fitness. I have a Facebook page. On Instagram, I'm there as Dr_Fitness_Kenya. I am on LinkedIn, and I'm on Twitter as well. But Twitter, well, I rarely visit there.
Yeah. Of course, welcome to join the community Thriving Couples. Online now, about 600,000 people. So welcome for that. And our book, aptly titled Thriving Couples, is coming out in 2 weeks' time. So look out for that as well. Thank you.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I don't know, Lauren and Kelvin, do you want people to follow you or not? No pressure. No. No worries, guys. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Just a reminder that we have got an amazing book by our founder, Washeke Ndwati. It's called Making Sense. It will help you on your journey as you start out on your wealth creation journey. Please do check it out. It's available everywhere and even online, especially due to Amazon. And to everybody, if you want to find out more about Centonomy, check out centonomy.com. And we're on all the social media and especially YouTube. We've got great videos on YouTube. You heard Kelvin talking about it. Many people come to Centonomy because of those experiences that they have there. Other than that, I want to thank you so much for your time. May God bless you. Have a great evening. And to all the couples, may you grow together and find the wealth and success that you want together in life. God bless you from us here at Centonomy. It's been amazing. Thank you so much to Lauren and Kelvin. Thank you so much to Dr. Esther, Dr. Keith Ndindi. We are so appreciative. Take care. God bless.